Welcome, Spartans, to Map Legends, an HCS Pro Talk series presented by Podcast Evolved, your home for Halo. I'm your host, Oren, and on each episode of Map Legends, I will guide you through the setting and lore behind popular competitive multiplayer maps and their remakes within the Halo universe. In today's episode, I will cover Midship from Halo 2. Midship has two remakes, Heretic from Halo 3 and Truth from Halo 5 Guardians. And there are two maps inspired by Midship, Zealot from Halo Reach and Regret from Halo 5 Guardians. So let's dive in. Midship is a small-scale multiplayer map released with Halo 2 and supports the Slayer, Capture the Flag, Oddball, Free-for-All, and 1v1 dual game types. From a lore perspective, Midship is set on the Covenant CCS class battlecruiser Pious Inquisitor. Earth can be seen through Midship's overhead viewports in its distant skybox, foreshadowing the human Covenant engagement, the Battle for Earth. Pious Inquisitor was directed into the High Prophet of Regret's fleet of sacred Consecration in 2552. The fleet's purpose was to secure and excavate the newly discovered location of the Forerunner Arc Portal. Leading the fleet were two CAS-class assault carriers, Solemn Penance and Day of Jubilation. Where the assault carriers make up in size and firepower, Pious Inquisitor makes up in speed, and held its reputation as one of the Covenant's fastest ships. Unknown at the time, the Arc Portal rested underneath the surface of humanity's homeworld, Earth, and when the fleet of Sacred Consecration arrived, they were met with an aggressive defense attack around Earth's orbital perimeter from the UNSC home fleet. After a high-stakes engagement, Pious Inquisitor and Solomon Penance managed to breach the orbital defenses and move the battle in atmosphere towards the Arc's portal's buried location. Day of Jubilation, however, was destroyed after its hull was breached and Spartan John 117 flew through the vacuum of space to deliver and detonate a bomb in the ship's reactor core. To learn more about the Battle for Earth, experience the Halo 2 campaign missions The Armory and Cairo Station. Heretic. Midship's first remake is Heretic, a small-scale multiplayer map released with Halo 3, and supports the Slayer, Capture the Flag, Oddball, Free-for-All, and Swords game types. From a lore perspective, Heretic is also set on Pious Inquisitor. However, at this point in time, Pious Inquisitor is among the fleet of Retribution during the height of the Great Schism. The fleet can be seen through the overhead viewports on Heretic. Sometime after the Battle for Earth, Pious Inquisitor's Jiralhane crew were overtaken and seized by a group of Sangheili separatists. These separatists used Pious Inquisitor to aid humanity in the fight against the Flood and to mobilize against the crumbling Covenant. When the Covenant remnants dispersed throughout the galaxy, RTAS VADUM, commander of the fleet of Retribution, offered the crew of Pious Inquisitor a place among his fleet to seek out and eliminate the Covenant remnants and return to their homeworld, Sanghelios. To learn more about Pious Inquisitor during the post-war era, check out the novel Halo Mortal Dictata. And to learn more about RTAS VADUM and his fleet of Retribution, check out the novella Halo Shadow of Intent. Zealot. Zealot is widely considered a spiritual successor to Midship because of its aesthetic similarities and level design. Zealot is a medium-scale multiplayer map released with Halo Reach and supports the Slayer, Capture the Flag, Oddball, King of the Hill, Free-for-All, and multi-team game types. From a lore perspective, Zealot is set inside the Communications Center on the Covenant SVD-class heavy corvette Ardent Prayer, attached to the fleet of Valiant Prudence. The map also features a playable area in space beyond passable energy shields. The fleet of Valiant Prudence invaded the planet Reach in the summer of 2552. The UNSC exploited an opportunity during Ardent Prayer's refueling track to launch Operation Uppercut, a tactical mission to plant and activate a Sha Fukikawa translight engine on board Ardent Prayer to destroy it and its flagship vessel Long Night of Solace, a CSO-class supercarrier. The mission was a success, but not without great sacrifice. Spartan George 052 stayed behind and activated the translite engine manually, which ruptured a slipspace portal in the ship's hangar. The portal crumbled and sucked Ardent Prayer and Long Night of Solace into it. The inflamed remains fell into Reach's atmosphere and plummeted into its surface. To learn more about the Ardent Prayer and the UNSC's Operation Uppercut, experience the Halo Reach campaign mission Long Night of Solace. Truth. Midship's second remake is Truth, a medium-scale multiplayer map released with Halo 5 Guardians, and supports the Slayer, Capture the Flag, and Free-for-All game types. The map is noticeably much larger than Midship to accommodate for Halo 5's additional player mobility. From a lore perspective, Truth is set on the CCS-class battlecruiser Undiminished Entelechy, the same ship class as Pious Inquisitor. Looking through Truth's overhead viewports, the fleet of Particular Justice is seen in pursuit of the UNSC Pillar of Autumn as they approached Installation 04. Undiminished Entelechy was one of the first ships assigned to the militaristic fleet of Particular Justice in 2535. Later, in 2552, and led by Supreme Commander VADUM, the fleet invaded the planet Reach. One of the UNSC ships, Pillar of Autumn, attempted to flee the invasion via slipspace, but was quickly pursued by VADUM and his fleet. Upon exiting slipspace, the fleet discovered the Sacred Halo Ring and attempted to destroy Pillar of Autumn and her crew. To learn more about the fleet of Particular Justice and its pursuit of Pillar of Autumn, experience the Halo Combat Evolved mission, Pillar of Autumn. Regret. Regret is a medium-scale multiplayer map released with Halo 5 Guardians as a remixed variant of Truth, thus making it a pseudo-spiritual successor to Midship. Regret supports the Slayer, Capture the Flag, and Free-for-All game types. From a lore perspective, Regret is set on an overgrown wreckage of Undiminished Entelechy after the UNSC and Covenant established their presence on Installation 04. Above the ring's surface, Undiminished Entelechy conducted a close-range survey of the Halo by order of the Minor Prophet of Stewardship. During the survey, the ship was boarded and overtaken by the Flood parasite. When information regarding the ship's loss reached the Supreme Commander VADUM, he ordered the ship's destruction in order to prevent the Flood from escaping the Sol system and threaten all life in the galaxy. The ship crash-landed on the Halo and burned any surviving Flood and Covenant. The ring's damage control system and environmental remediation protocols accelerated vegetation and local flora to consume Undiminished Entelechy's wreckage. To learn more about the history of the fleet of Particular Justice, check out the Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary and Halo 2 Anniversary Terminals, and the novel Halo First Strike. And that will do it for Midship and its remakes Heretic, Zealot, Truth, and Regret on this episode of Map Legends. Let us know in the chat and in the comments which competitive multiplayer map you want us to cover next. And make sure to subscribe to both HCS Pro Talk and Podcast Evolved on your respective podcast feeds and YouTube channels to stay up to date on the latest competitive Halo news and to learn more about the expansive Halo lore. I have been your host, Oren, and until next time, evolve!